why traditional media is still alive and kicking. I find it amusing, this title, because I know that we've always been alive and kicking. But I guess in the days of digital, sometimes people forget about traditional media is actually quite powerful, still a very powerful tool to reach the mass audience. We worked with BDRC Asia to commission this research called the value of news. And I'm hoping that today I can share with you some interesting findings from this study. Today, let me first talk about the objectives. There are three objectives for this research. First, we want to highlight the value of quality and trusted news in this post-truth era, and why brands need to prioritize establishing trust with consumers. And the second objective is to demonstrate the importance of brand safety, which is across platform, not just for TV. Not just for digital. The association with trusted media content and its impact on brands. And the last objective is to understand news consumption habits among paid TV audience in particular, and how or if they are impacted by the proliferation of digital news offering. Why is there a need to talk about this research, put aside the fact about it's a very in topic, the fake news and post-truths? Why do we still want to emphasize the role of a trusted and also traditional media? From syndicated surveys such as the Global Web Index, we already know that digital news consumption, this is BBC News, BBC World News reach, daily, weekly, and monthly. The light pink bars you see are the non-digital news consumers, so those people who don't go to online media to consume news. This is the reach among those group of people. But if you bring up the reach among the people who do go to digital as a source of media consumption for news, you see that our reach actually is higher among that group of people. It's as high as 3 to 4 times. So this tells us that the more people consume news online, the more they are keen to consume news on TV as well. So TV news, online news isn't cannibalizing TV reach, but it complements. We get incremental, hopefully different people coming to our content across different platforms. So we know that is a fact, but we want to develop a research to talk specifically about this. So this research we worked with BDRC Asia, and also through BDRC Asia, we use Vox Proximity technology. We use online survey and VoxPox for 5 markets you see here. And we recruited 18 to 54 online news consumers who are also pay TV subscribers, so that we can fairly compare their news consumption online and on TV. And they have to be regular international news consumers. And because this is done for BBC, we wanted to make sure that we don't have we don't overly represent the expat population. So we made a cap of less than 10% expats for the entire sample. And we conduct this field work in March, so it's the post-truth era after Trump inauguration and everything. And methodology, like I said, online survey and VoxPox. The need for coming up with a research about trust and the value of news is really, everybody is aware, but let me just try to remind everyone how incredible year we have in 2016, where we were inundated with big and unpredictable news events. And I guess it's highly predictable that this trend will continue into 2017. And few people thought that it would be possible for these three things to happen, to have happened. But just how likely were they? So if you were to, at the start of 2016, if you were to lay a $10 bet on Leicester winning the EPL championship, Trump becoming the US president, and Britain voting to exit the EU, you would have been $55 million richer at this point. And in the UK, no one bet on Leicester and Trump, and in the world, no one bet on all three. But these events, particularly the last two, are what had an effect on the economy, as well as the consumer sentiment. And we narrow it down to three main factors that make this global event so relevant. And first is economic. Household incomes in many places have either declined or held flat for the last decade or so. At the same time, the inequality gap has widened. McKinsey reports that in the rich countries, in the countries they define as rich, 66% of households have experienced a decline in income between 2005 and 2014. And that 66% was only 2% in the previous decade. So it was a very big economic concern surrounding us. It's very close to home because it impacts our day-to-day life. The second threat factor is terrorism. I don't have to, stress on this because from President Trump's travel ban to the most recent UK national threat level raising up to the critical, which is the highest level. Populist politicians have been promoting the idea that the incumbent government cannot or will not safeguard their citizens. And this message resonates with audiences around the world, particularly because terrorism activities draws a disproportionate attention of media coverage and stir up irrational fears, which in many ways actually is what the terrorism wants. And the third factor is immigration. Immigration of low-skilled workers have become an increasingly contentious political issue across the Western world, leading to the Build the World centerpiece of Trump's campaign. And it was arguably the single biggest factor in Britain voting to leave the EU. On our side of the planet, we are not immune from this immigration issue either. Many developed countries are also struggling with illegal immigration, as well as keeping the balance ratio between the unskilled worker and the highly skilled workforce when it comes to immigration. So all those three factors, we just saw. I guess it's not a surprise to see that in our research, 77% actually said international news is more important now than ever before. And we have seen similar findings from other research studies published by YouGov or the Reuters News Institute. So international news events are very relevant nowadays. Fake news, however, is on the rise since 2016, with more audience questioning what they read and see. However, the phenomenon of fake news or post-truth isn't new. For centuries, politicians have been using fake news as a diversion technique. But last year, Donald Trump and the U.S. politicians, or our friendly competitor, the Clinton News Network, have managed to bring it to a new high. And that's why you must have all known about this. Oxford Dictionary have declared 2016 the word of the year is post-truth. And when American actor Denzel Washington, he's also very vocal on many issues related to society. When journalists asked him about the issue of fake news, he said that if you don't read the news, you are uninformed. If you do read it, you are misinformed. So what now? So he gave the advice to the reporters who interviewed him. So what is the responsibility you reporters will have? Is to tell the truth, not just be first, but to tell the truth. This is probably the only BBC slide I'm going to talk about today because I believe this is an industry-wide issue, fake news and trust. It's not just a BBC issue, but at the BBC, we're lucky that we have always had very strict editorial guidelines to be fair, independent, and honest. In fact, trust and being independent, impartial, and honest are ingrained in our DNA. Our journalists were never pressured to be the first to break news. In fact, every single breaking news needs to be checked by 2 different sources to validate that before it can go on air. Earlier, the example I gave you about the fake news and how it's centered around the US and Europe, it's actually, it happened mostly in the US or Europe. But concern of fake news is actually definitely not isolated to those areas, thanks to the proliferation of online media. In APAC, we see that the majority of consumers, close to 4 in 5 people, are concerned about fake news. One of the young female news consumers from Singapore noted that she prefers to tune into news channels because news online may not be 100% true. So consumers are aware of that. In fact, this quote is just a small piece of insight into how news consumers in APAC have shown a heightened awareness of the need for trust and credibility from the media. The inability to establish fake news, the inability to distinguish fake news from the truth is red flag for news brands. So our value of news research shows that consumers increasingly value the credibility of trusted news sources. 82% say that it's important for news brands to verify their story before reporting. People don't want to get false information even though they are the first to know. They don't want to be the person to spread fake news. They want the media to take responsibility and double check their data before reporting. 79% say that they're more inclined to refer to well-known and established news brands because of the concern for fake news. Nearly 2 in 3 consumers actually find it difficult to distinguish real from fake news. There's simply too much information for all of us, time poor, attention-deprived, multi-device loving media consumers. One Voxbox respondent pointed out here why it is becoming increasingly difficult to differentiate truth. The sheer amount of information online and via social networks means consumers don't have the time or can't spare their effort to actively filter all sources. Many of them take whatever comes to their news feed and take it at face value. Social media also can become an echo chamber of misinformation. And the social posting algorithm definitely did not help with this situation either. Here I share with you a personal story. So I'm a big film buff. I love films, I love movies. I constantly recommend the movies I've seen to people on my social feed. One night, before I go to bed, I posted this poster of a Spanish movie, I think it's Spanish, women on the verge of nervous breakdown. and recommended on my Facebook. And the next morning when I turned on my Facebook feed, I saw this ad. This really has happened. I found it really amusing that because of my Facebook post, it's not relevant to my state of mind, but it's just the title of the movie is called Nervous Breakdown. Facebook is thinking that I need mental help. So this is just an example of the kind of how consumers actually need to be very mindful when they consume news, not to be affected by what Facebook wants you to see, but by what is actually important out there that you should be aware of. So the second challenge before I hand over to Piers for media owners or marketers these days is about ensuring brand safety. We've all seen this horror where a airline banner ad can be associated with a traffic accident. By the way, this is not true. This is only photoshopped together. So anyone who works for us 3 times, this did not happen. But this is the kind of one example in terms of brand safety. You want to ensure your brand is associated with trust content, and also at the same time away from the extremist content. So the brands nowadays, they are threatened by being seen alongside untrustworthy content and also alongside extremist content. The cases in point here for being associated with untrusted content is the Rabbit news. I always have problem pronouncing it. Rabbit News is a far-right political news website closely tied to the President Trump's campaign. As a result, it was blocked by mainstream brands like BMW, Visa, Kellogg, and by many programmatic platforms as well. Why? Because they all have realized that the association with this far-right ideology will be detrimental for their brands. And you must have all heard about the Google advertising scandal, where ads appear next to white supremacy, ISIS videos, or other extremist content. So brand safety is actually very, very important topic, especially on the digital front. From our research, it shows that these advertisers do have cause for concern, because 62% or 3 in 5 people actually say that being associated with untrusted media environment will negatively affect their opinion for brands. On the other hand, the sound reputation of a channel website proves to have a halo effect on the brand's consideration and credibility. At least 60 to 65% are more inclined to consider or trust a brand, read a piece of content sponsored by a brand when it's seen on a trustworthy media environment. We have more information about the halo effect, but today, due to the time constraint, we're not talking about that. But if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. So Piers is going to come up to talk more about the findings in this number 3 objective about how TV news audience are impacted by the proliferation of digital news offering.
So from the same study, we looked at the importance of TV news in the age of digital. So a sample of around 1,500 news consumers across the region. We do see that consumers are using multiple platforms to access news, but you'll see that the leading platform is still TV news, around 5%. of consumers are accessing this channel, followed by 76% for social media. And the frequency is also high for those two platforms, over 5 times per week. What we did look at was how international news, particularly breaking news, is where people go for this. So if I can just can't see these slides. So we see that international news is the first place for people to go to for breaking news, but social media is a close second. The issue is, though, I mean, we looked into the reasons why people's first choice is like it is. Now, clearly for some practical reasons, during the day people might not have access to TV anyway, so social media and other digital platforms may be more convenient or are more accessible. But it's often the case that if there's a very big story, for example, something relating to, say, a terror attack, people kind of go to TV as a form of reassurance. Really big stories, people will want to see live presenters and broadcasters and reporters. I don't know if you remember, you think back to when 9/11 happened. Of course, we remember it very well, but when that happened and it was evening time in Asia, you probably found yourself switching between channels on TV just to kind of reassure yourself that this was actually real. It wasn't some kind of drama documentary. Myself was actually switching towards local channels as well as international channels. So TV kind of provides that reassurance when there's a very big breaking story. But when we wanted to drill down and establish what was the connection that consumers still had to traditional media, and we did employ Vox Populi, which is effectively a video feedback as an alternative to an open-ended question. And this, the benefit of this is that it's incorporated into the online quantitative survey. It's not a separate sample. So people do have the option to video themselves for key open-ended questions instead of writing in the answers. And there's a number of benefits to that. Firstly, you get better responses. The respondent engagement is higher. People tend to say more than they would write. The other thing is that you get closer to the consumer. You know, sometimes online research kind of distances yourself from the respondent. You could actually see the real respondents at their place of work or in home. So they almost become almost ethnographic type research because you can see people in their home where they may be consuming the product. And of course it provides considerable reach, geographic reach that is. It's a highly cost-effective way of getting qualitative feedback from a wide geography. So, it's not designed to replace qualitative research. There are certain projects where you might have 2 or 3 key questions where you want some qualitative diagnostics, and this is a very good method for doing that. And we've used it also in in-market study, a single country study. We're in Indonesia, for example, so we're using this technique for mystery shopping and accompanied shopping, where we're interviewing customers right across Indonesia, which otherwise would be very impractical to do through traditional qualitative research. So what we found, one of the key questions we asked where we got Vox Pop responses is, why do you still like to watch news channels on TV, even though the news is also available online? So across 90 Vox Pops, we were able to categorize this into 4 main themes. So firstly, things sort of fell into the area of information. That would be the media company itself compiles the best stories, or it kind of filters out a lot of the detail, it provides and delivers to the consumer very concise content, accurate content and relevant content. The second area is what we call entertainment, is that news is still entertainment in some forms. People like to watch TV in a certain environment, in the comfort of their living room. And it's also an environment where they can share the experience with their family, and they also like watching TV on a big screen. So we've also done research into video gaming, and even though mobile gaming is on the rise, TV console gaming is not dying, because people still want to game with others. They want the big screen experience, and doing it in the comfort, watching content in the comfort of their own living room. The second area, or third area, is about habit. People talk about change. This category is in continual change. It's not necessarily the case. People are creatures of habit. They quite like routine. They quite like, for example, watching TV news in the morning before they go to work, or they like watching TV news at the end of the day. So when I was in the UK, part of my routine, for many families' routine, was watching the BBC 9 o'clock news. It becomes part of your routine, and it's something that you very much enjoy. And of course, in terms of why people still watch TV, there is the issue. There's the disadvantages of online. Some of it, things like connectivity and picture quality, accessibility, but then the whole area of fake news. So what we have done is we're able to look at.
We refer to the TV news because it is quite effective with video and pictures depicting the event more successfully. As the old-fashioned way of assimilating news, we tend to reach out to TV to get the news updates, breaking news, and all the happenings around the news. Thank you.
So that's an example from one of the respondents in India. See how he says thank you at the end of it. He actually enjoyed taking part in the experience. We have another from Singapore about why TV is, I say entertaining, but she talks more about
it's a lot easier to discuss with my family members because I watch the news with them. So it's like instantly we can just discuss our views, our opinions about what is happening. I feel it's more interactive in a way. It's just, it also promotes bonding for me, and plus the news on the TV gives actually more coverage, it's more in-depth rather than the news online. You still have to search other articles to find out more information.
And from Australia.
Good morning. I think it's important to still watch the news on TV. I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is turn on the TV and see what news is happening around the world and in our own backyard. With all these terrorist attacks that are happening, it is important to know that our family, friends, here and all over the world are safe. That's my point of view anyhow.
And finally from Malaysia, talking about disadvantages of online.
So I think it's easy to watch TV on the home, but if you want to find out news through the internet, then you have to search on Google, then you have to find out a specific, specific topic, and you have to go to the specific website. So if you watch TV, then I think it's convenient to us to get the news easily.
So those are just 4 examples. It goes on. I'm not going to play all of them, but when it comes to preference for TV, things like pictures are more vivid. Clearly, you get pictures through digital as well, but people can relate to the situation better through TV. as this lady in Singapore as well, saying is pictures is better than reading, or people prefer to listen than to read. There's other things about how things online that you can easily get distracted with links and ads, so it takes a long time to actually get news that you're looking for. Other examples is about the entertainment aspect. Is the TV experience is better. It's a more relaxing atmosphere, and you can focus on the news better through the TV rather than distractions through online. And then we saw the example from the lady in Australia. It's also about habit. The other lady on the right saying, well, because she uses PCs all day, she doesn't want to be using PCs or mobiles in the evening. So at the end of the day, it's nice to watch the TV because it gets away from the digital environment she's used to. So one of the advantages of this approach is that because it is integrated within the quantitative survey itself, we can understand segments better. So within the study, we produced segments of different types of news consumers. 3 different clusters emerged: nonchalant, the informed, and the discerning. I won't go into details as to what they are, but we can link those videos with the segments that consumer falls into to allow you to drill down and get more detail on what that consumer is like. A few other findings from the study was looking at the different media brands that consumers are interacting with. So BBC and their friendly competitor are leading the market at almost 80% penetration through any type of platform. But what you see is, in the red bar is the news brands that people will interact with through the TV, in the blue through their website, and in the grey apps usage for that brand. So what you'll see actually is that TV has much higher penetration across all those news brands. And it's in fact only about 40% of the viewers will use the digital option. But you'll see that the conversion of web viewers to app users is much higher. So those who are going to the website and those using the apps is quite similar. So it's about 90% of the apps users have come from the website. We also looked at another key question was why people like the BBC. I mean, we recorded this quantitatively, also incorporated some Vox Pops feedback. The leading reasons are high quality, it's more trustworthy, open and honest. The trust is in some respects built by the fact that it is live TV. You are seeing presenters and reporters. We think that a lot of that trust is built in the presenters and reporters and kind of being the brand ambassadors for the news brand itself. Because in a sense, people can be more trustworthy than in the anonymous written word, and that can be part of what is building trust. And because the trust is built in those media brands, it does also create a halo effect on their digital platforms. So we asked which of these digital platforms they would consider the most trustworthy. So those in the green are those rating it as trustworthy, those versus the red, it diminishes trust. So the websites, the traditional publishers, are considered considerably more trustworthy than all the other social media options that you see listed there. And that goes on, so I did already talk about this, is that halo effect does extend to brands that choose to advertise on those channels. So more than half, for example, agree that they are inclined to consider a brand when it is advertised on trusted news channels. more than half would read a piece of sponsored content when it's published on the news channel that they trust. Again, more than half saying that advertising on untrusted media has a detrimental effect on perception of the brand, and they tend to trust a brand more if it's advertised on a trusted news channel. So, just summing up, clearly the value of a credible brand has enormous impact. Being associated with an untrustworthy media will have a negative effect on brands being advertised on that site, and international news channels and publishers do a lot to boost the brand's credibility. News consumers prefer international news versus local news channels for global coverage, in-depth analysis, and objective news. And international TV news are the top source for breaking news stories. And the reasons why traditional TV news is holding strong, well, the evidence is that TV is still the leading platform. The reach of TV for news brands is considerably ahead of their digital channels. And the TV experience is liked by consumers, relaxing, routine, it's an environment for sharing, they like the big screen. And those major news brands provide the filtering of the detail. They filter out, they edit the news down into more enjoyable and digestible packages, and can filter out the fake news. And the trust in those media brands rubs off on the advertisers to these channels. So, thank you.